my thing to entrepreneurs is always back yourself against the negativity of others. Because even if you're wrong, as long as you're humble enough to be a seeker of truth, to be a scientist as opposed to a preacher and an ideologue, you will change. You constantly change, iterate your ideas. I mean, Babylon Beach must have changed it 100 times in terms of what we wanted to do, right? But always back yourself as opposed to allow others to let you know what you can't.
I completely agree. And I think that that's one of the things that I've certainly learned over, not just this venture, but previous ventures, which is that ultimately, I mean, look, my background is in sales and commercial, where thankfully I got trained that you were going to hear no a heck of a lot more than you were going to hear yes. Like from my early 20s, I was out on the road doing, being a road warrior, and you kind of get, you expect the no, and actually the no. I always think that, and this is when if anyone asks me about this, or it comes up in any kind of training or anything, salespeople crave the no, because the no gives you data. The no is data if you're brave enough to ask for it, right? So one of the things that surprised me over the years when I've been raising capital is when people turn me down, which obviously happens, right? And it's not for everyone. Investors do different things. They make their own choices as well. They should, like you said, about allocating capital. So they should, right? It's not even their money. Absolutely. Most of the time, it's someone else's money. Yeah. So they should do whatever they think is best in the interest of the people that have invested in their funds. But when they say no, I always say, could you tell me why? Can we have a call? Can you explain? And almost to a person, they say, oh, no one ever asks. I rarely hear from people. I rarely hear from people after I say no. And it's like, well, you have to be able to divest, as much as it is your baby, you have to understand how the market views it. You have to understand how other people view it and take that feedback on board in order to grow and adapt, because otherwise it's just you kind of raging against the storm. And sometimes that works, right? Some people, sometimes that can pay off, but most of the time it doesn't. So actually, having to go through that process of hearing the no, as long as you're brave enough to actually go and ask the why, I think is the best way to do it.